Now, trade unions say government has no intention of keeping the Mango Airlines in the sky. The low-cost carrier was forced to suspend flights this week due to outstanding payments. That was last week. Unions have approached the High Court in Johannesburg with an urgent business rescue application. Let's discuss this with Numsa's Phakamile, Hlubi, Majola, who joins us now via Zoom, Skype. Thank you so much for making time, Phakamile. What does this latest move mean for the future of the airline? The fact that the company's regulator has rejected the airline's last-ditch attempt to be voluntarily placed in business rescue.
Good afternoon, Clement, and good afternoon to your viewers, and thank you for having me on your show. So it is quite significant that the CIPC rejected the application which was made by the department, by SAA rather, to try and place Mango under business rescue. And the reasons they gave was simply, first and foremost, that this application was made 3 months too late, because in terms of the standard process, they have to do it within 5 days of a board resolution. And they also said that it was because the board had been improperly constituted. So it was on that basis that that application was rejected. However, our application, which we have filed to the South Gauteng High Court, will be heard tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's an application filed by Numsa and the SA Cabin Crew Association, as well as the Mango Pilots Association. And we have done so because we actually feel that whilst government might claim that it is interested in business rescue for Mango, the reality in our view is that it is not. Its actions do not reflect this. They waited until the 11th hour to make this application. This and other behavior has demonstrated to us that they're not serious about turning around this airline. Yeah.
Well, the airline has made an argument that they couldn't proceed with the business rescue application without the approval of SAA and government. Well,
the problem is that whilst that might be the case, let's recall what happened during in 2019 in December when SA and DP announced that SA was going to be placed under voluntary business rescue. If you recall, Clement, that process, there was an announcement made and the process happened very quickly. So what stopped them this time around? This is not something that we can take seriously. Secondly, the affidavit which they submitted to us in their answering papers to court, attached to that affidavit was a conversation or a communique that was sent by the former chairperson of SAA to the Mango board, basically explaining that DPE had no interest in rescuing Mango. Out of the 3 options which were before them, which was to wind down the airline, liquidation or cessation of operations, they chose winding down. So there clearly was never an intention to rescue Mango. That letter was written on the 16th of April. So, on the 30th of April, rather. It was written on the 30th of April. What reason do we have to believe them when they say that? The only reason they responded is because we started filing papers in court. We started serving them with our intentions to take this matter to court. That's when they started acting. And at that stage, as far as we're concerned, it was already very late in the game. But even then, we were willing to work with them. But our problem is that they are now saying to us that they are only willing to pay over bridging financing for workers' salaries if we withdraw our business rescue application. Now, that is very sinister. That tells us that they're not actually interested in business rescue. They are dangling this cheap carrot of 1.5 months' salary for workers, and the ultimate goal will be that Mango will be wound down because there is no political will to save it.
What could be the implications of that? So if it goes into liquidation, how detrimental would that be, especially to the workers that haven't been paid? For how many months now? Is it 2 months?
8 months. Workers have been without salaries for 8 months. And the most detrimental thing would be a repeat of South African Airways' failed business rescue process, where workers lose their jobs in their hundreds, and this would have a very, very negative impact on the value chain. Currently, Mango employs 748 workers. In terms of its role in the value chain, it contributes approximately 10,000 jobs. It is frankly irresponsible and reckless for this government, which claims that it is trying to save jobs, not to take the active steps necessary to turn around a viable entity. And part of the reason why we are insistent that we want to go this route where we continue with filing this application is because we want the South Gauteng High Court to appoint Mr. Ralph Latchman as the business rescue practitioner. We don't want a repeat of the disastrous lengthy SAA business rescue process that went on for over a year, resulted in massive job losses, and did not save the airline. We want a proper, transparent process where the airline will be turned around for the long term and as many jobs are saved as is possible, which is the goal of business rescue, I might add.
All right. Phakamile, Hlubi, Majola, thank you so much for your time on The Lead this afternoon.